Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Wraith Designs, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a follow-up to my theory of the new Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Now, I saw the trailer just like everybody else. Pretty amazing. Definitely looking forward to it. But I have a few extras in here that I'm going to add for those who can actually see this. I know there's tons of videos out there, so I'm probably going to be buried in the entire data stream here, but you know what? It's cool because I don't dedicate my channel to this. However, he is one of my favorite characters in the series, and I am completely stoked that he's coming back. Now, what I believe is actually going to occur, and a lot of people online seem to have a very close version to what I'm thinking, but here's what I think. Now, the first thing I want to address is the importance of the last part of that trailer. That is Broly that they're showing. Now, some people say it's Goku. Goku is one of the Saiyans in those incubation chambers. However, you can clearly see Broly's the one that's sort of in the green one that's emitting a little bit of a green light. Now, the reason this is going to help back my theory, which is a little different from everybody else's, is that, well, think about it. If they're doing some sort of genetic tests, or they're trying to do some sort of tests to see why he's so powerful, the reason why they'd even bother to bring other Saiyans into this is to do tests on them. Not necessarily just going through a bunch of Saiyans and then all of a sudden one of them, you know, took the testing. I mean, it could be possible, but I think it's a little bit more plausible that what's going to be the case is that they're actually testing on other Saiyans from Broly to see, because he's such a freak of nature, a one-in-a-lifetime event. They wanted to see if they could harness that power and transfer it to other Saiyans and see what happens. Now, this may also help explain why Goku is so damn powerful as well, and why he was able to get to such heights. Now, simply because he was tested on doesn't make him as strong as Broly. You know, think about it this way. You're always going to have the main test, the main subject, or source of the test that you're going to use to test on others. That's always going to be top-notch. At least what I'm thinking in this situation here, that he's going to be number one. Okay, they can mimic and maybe enhance other Saiyans, but they're not going to be able to create the same thing. He is a freak of nature. Okay, so this will also explain why it was a little harder for them to actually get to where they're going, to get to Super Saiyan status. Now, another thing I want to actually bring up is there's a little bit of a secret hidden in that trailer, and there's a YouTube user called CallMearJ that explains this, and it's actually from a backstory for Bardock, and I think it's Gine, Goku's mother. Now, what this shows, and it's pretty obvious at this point, it's amazing that this was found, is that in that manga, you can clearly see in some scenes on Planet Vegeta, there's rock formations in the background that match the same rock formations that are shown in the trailer of the movie. And what you're seeing is Bardock's hand touching Goku's as he's sending him off planet, because he knows something's coming. Now, in this manga, it explains that all the Saiyans were called back to Planet Vegeta for something, which kind of tipped off Bardock something isn't right, because it was kind of being done in the middle of a battle as they were sent out to conquer. So he comes back, you know, he has a feeling something's going on, and so he sends off Goku. Okay, he talks to Gine, lets her know, hey, or Gine, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and lets her know something's up. I sense death. I sense something very bad coming. So he sends Goku off planet. Now, at this same time, I believe there's a real reason why Frieza was going to destroy that planet outside of what he says in this manga. And they can't obviously release this before the movie, but I believe he knows something more than he's letting on. And I also think that Beerus also is knows more than he's letting on as well. Of course, a god can do whatever he wants, right? So he doesn't have to tell everybody. But I will tell you this. Bardock will be making a cameo, whether it's a past memory or scene that basically is going to bring him into canon. So either way, we see Broly become canon, and now we're going to see Bardock. So we have 3 movies that are coming out. We got one coming out this year, next year, and the year after that. Okay, so there's going to be 3 movies. So I think that they're kind of lining this up, and through this movie, we're going to see why. Now, obviously, we all know Broly's a monster. And a lot of people do believe he was genetically tested on, but think about this. If the Saiyans back then had that technology to create someone like Broly, what would keep them from creating more? You know what I'm saying? There must have been something different in that scenario. Other than them testing on all of them, they were actually taking the power from Broly and transferring it to other Saiyans. Meaning that once it took, they had the ability to turn Super Saiyan, which means that the ability to turn Super Saiyan is only strict to the ones who are able to take the testing. That's what I believe is going to be revealed, which then will give more bearing and more importance to the Super Saiyan once again, instead of people thinking any Saiyan can turn Super Saiyan. Now, it may kind of ruin a lot of, like, you know, fan stories and extended universe stuff, but I do believe this is a great direction to go in, because then this will actually show that Broly indeed is the legend that Vegeta was telling Goku on Namek, and that there is another story or another part of this story that was never explained, or at least it was covered up with a legend or a story they knew would spread and kind of make everybody believe that Super Saiyan died. Maybe he never did, and because people thought he did, nobody knew where he was, never even bothered looking for him. However, that does not explain why nobody could sense his power outside of maybe the device on his neck. I think maybe what may have happened is that as the planet was being destroyed, you know, Paragus sends his son off, he escapes, a few other Saiyans escape because they know this is coming. Whether or not they got a heads up ahead of time, maybe Frieza, you know, that's Paragus is one of his top dudes and told him, hey, this is happening, you need to get off planet. You know, and maybe he hid Broly from him. Maybe they had found a way in that chamber to mask the power level so nobody could really tell what was going on unless somebody from the inside said something. Now, I believe somebody witnessed something there with Broly that spread the legend of the Super Saiyan, okay? And this is why in the manga, in the backstory of Bardock and Yin, that they show, you know, Frieza basically talking about a Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan God. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, wait a minute, wasn't that first discovered by Beerus when he awoken after all that time? Yes. But at the same time, how did the little slug divine fish thing in there tell him about the story? How did he know about it? Somebody knew ahead of time. And I think Frieza knew. And of course, since he wasn't around at the time, he wasn't going to speak up and say, well, wait a minute, I knew about this first. Now, he's not even going to mention it because it's not really a big thing. But until this movie, he might realize why that legend was actually true. Or he knows something else. Now, what I really believe is happening is that he's going to be dumbfounded, but at the same time try to use Broly as a weapon, and he's going to turn on him. And this is probably going to be earlier in the actual movie. Now, I know that we're seeing what looks like the climatic battle at the end and stuff like that, and the same battle with Frieza and Broly's happening at that same time. It could be possible, but I also believe that what happened earlier in the movie is that Paragus tricked Frieza and took his ship. Okay, now that could be possible. It could be that Frieza's there and they took the ship, you know, but you would probably see Frieza standing there smiling like, aha, look at this guy, you know, but he isn't. It's Paragus, at least from what we can see. And so what I believe is that they actually either have another ship like Frieza's for Broly, or they took his ship. And I believe that it is very possible that they took some of his army as well, and basically, you know, kicked the crap out of him and sent him, you know, he got away and he went back to Earth and warned Goku and Vegeta, and that's probably why they know who this guy is when they say, oh, that's the guy. So I think Frieza's the one that lets them know. I think he did have a plan and it backfired on him, and then he realized, oh geez, he's like the Jiren of this universe but worse. You know, we just went through this and saw what happened. We nearly defeated Jiren, and this guy's already outclassing him. We are in some deep doo-doo. And again, like, the gods don't like to get involved in mortal matters. I think in this movie it's possible Beerus might just have to. And the reason why I think it's possible is to show the magnitude of the power of Broly by actually kicking the crap out of Beerus. Alright, or at least stopping him. Now, we know that a user of a Hakai, if he's not stronger than the target that he's using the Hakai on, it will not work, and Vegeta proved this against Toppo. Now, we could argue that Toppo was a brand new god and he wasn't powerful enough. The energy itself is sound. I don't think it really matters how powerful the user is. Once they decide to go under the training and decide to use it, it is what it is. Yes, it will increase in power with the user, but it still does the same very function it's meant to do, destroy. So Vegeta was able to break through that, okay? So we know it can be done, and we know that, you know, we haven't really seen Beerus do a lot outside of Battle of Gods. You know, he's kind of, you know, laying around, eating food, always like kind of chilling, sleeping. He hasn't really been training, at least from what we can see, like he should be. So I don't think he's going to reach Ultra Instinct. I think he's going to try. I think he's going to maybe try to fight Broly, but something's going to happen. And they're going to have to get him out of there. And this is when it's going to get serious, because when they realize he literally takes out Beerus, like Goku was going to have a rematch with him, he takes out Beerus like that, that's when they realize the threat is super real. And this is no joke. This isn't like anyone else that they come against. Now that's just a partial theory. However, I do believe that, and from what I could see from the stills of Broly's character, one of them is from the past, and then the next 4 are recent. So it may show 3 different timelines, when they're babies, when he's a little older, and maybe that's when the legend actually really spread. I mean, it kind of won't make sense with the Bardock manga at that point, but we do know that Bardock is going to make a cameo, and that is going to be attached to that manga. At least from what we can see, that is going to be attached to this somehow. And that Broly will lose the collar well before he goes Super Saiyan. If you look at the pictures, you will clearly see, in not his 3rd form, he only has 4, it seems. I know a lot of people are saying 5, but it's actually 4. We don't really count the first one as a form, it's just his base form. The second one's also his base form, but he just looks a little bit, you know, a little bit more jacked over time. That's naturally probably going to happen. But the last 4 are his forms, okay? You're going to have Broly, his base form that you see in the trailer, and you're going to see the one that's a little bit more buffed up and powered up, sort of like a false Super Saiyan. And then we're going to see him actually become a Super Saiyan, then Legendary. So at this point, he loses the collar well before he goes Super Saiyan. So that's pretty crazy. He loses the collar at a base form level that's a little bit beefed out. His eyes turn yellow, things like that. So I think that's when he's going to basically break free from control. Now this may be by plan. You know, he was controlled this entire time until they needed to unleash him. And Paragus knew once this was done, that's it. So they needed to use him for something very special. And for whatever reason, they're looking for the Dragon Balls. And I think it may actually be to revive Planet Vegeta and revive all the people on the planet. Think about it. Why else would they go out of their way, okay, to do this? Maybe they want to bring back the Saiyan race, and this is their chance, and they need to get the Dragon Balls to do it. Now, I don't know why they never thought of doing this before, except that we've always known that Saiyans are, you know, not really nice, not a nice race, at least back then. But there were some, you know, very free, pure-hearted Saiyans on the planet. So at the same time, we have to wonder, will it be possible to bring them back and then somehow convince them? You know, maybe Prince Vegeta comes back to his planet, because you know he wants to see the planet in Universe 6. So maybe he gets his planet back in this one. So I do believe there's going to be a big, strong connection also with his father, King Vegeta. The reason why Beerus was there in, you know, I think it was Battle of Gods, where it shows him basically making him lick his boot and things like that. You know, Vegeta sees this. We also see Frieza doing the same thing to him during the series, but there has to be a reason why they're all involved, and that there must have been some sort of point where King Vegeta had had enough, and he probably okayed the test being done on the other Saiyans in hopes of taking out Frieza, and then maybe later on challenging Beerus himself. This way, they can truly be the conquerors they were meant to be. So I think that's going to be part of it. Another thing is, you know, it's a long shot, but notice how they're all wearing purple. Okay, I know a lot of scenes where they, in the Cooler movie, his henchmen were wearing purple, at least some of them. So I don't know if they're gonna kind of show that maybe he's around, maybe this is his army, and they haven't actually shown him. They might mention that Frieza has a brother. Either way, I think that might be a possibility. But for right now, it's either Bardock jacked what army he could out of him, or he had some followers already, tricked him, took his ship, and went to Earth after Frieza went there. Now, there's a reason they're going there, okay? And maybe they got this out of Frieza, that they have Dragon Balls there, because he went back there after he was resurrected in Resurrection F. So there's definitely going to probably be some sort of interrogation out of Frieza from them. And he's definitely going to spill the beans and either get his butt kicked, if not nearly killed, and go all the way to Earth and warn Goku and Vegeta. So I think this is possibly what that may unfold as. And I know a lot of people think this is all Frieza's plan, and it could be at first, but I think he doesn't realize that this Saiyan has been around and he's been this strong, and it's been hidden from him. So once he finds this out, he's not going to be happy about it. I think that's when they're going to turn on Frieza and take his ship. So in the meantime, another thing that I think that may be a big part of this movie is that the dream that Beerus had was actually of Broly, not of Goku. Somehow there's got to be a way to fill in this plot hole of why Frieza knew way back then a Super Saiyan God or a Super Saiyan. The only thing I can think of is that after a long slumber like Beerus took, he has some memory issues, and that he had to figure out, you know, what was his dream of. Because if he knew about all of this, he wouldn't be acting so surprised, and he would have never went to Earth to look for Goku, and all that would have never happened. So something had to have happened where his memories, either he lost part of his memory, or there's some other way that Frieza knew about this, just like the little divine slugfish thing in the bowl there told Beerus. So either way, that will be explained as well. Now, I do believe that it may be the fact that the reason they turn on Frieza is they find out that he was the one that did this. Because in the manga, talking about, you know, Bardock's backstory, even his henchmen are like, don't you think they might suspect you? And that's the thing. Maybe, you know, nobody knows for a fact outside of, like, Vegeta that he was the one that destroyed it, you know, the planet. So other Saiyans may not know it was Frieza. They could have just thought it was some sort of attack, or a meteorite, something hit the planet. It could have just been natural. So that way they don't necessarily suspect Frieza. Now, another part of the manga that's actually really interesting is that it shows a younger Vegeta with Raditz. So the manga actually shows Raditz in this with Vegeta, and they, you know, he's basically saying to Vegeta, don't you think you should go back to Planet Vegeta, we're all being called? Well, he didn't, obviously, and neither did Raditz, so that will also help explain why they were still around. Now, not all Saiyans went back, as we all realize. Some of them were out on missions, but they were all called back. Not all of them could all get there. So the thing is, there must be some Saiyans that escaped the planet, not just Goku and others, but some other Saiyans we don't know about that escaped, and that this way they were able to spread the story, the legend of the Super Saiyan, and then Vegeta gets wind of it and all that. But after the events, you know, a lot of evidence of everything that happened is pretty much gone. And now this will help mask Broly, this will help mask the story and keep him hidden in plain sight. This way, anyone looking for him wouldn't. And anyone who would detect such a power level, you know, at this point, I don't think would challenge him outside of maybe Beerus or Frieza. Now, Frieza, I don't think would even bother with it either. Now, another thing is, we may see also a cameo of Cooler, which may also help explain the story more as to why Frieza may have known or may have suspected that something was going on and that he could not take a chance. And basically is what he says in the manga. He cannot take a chance that they could rise up against him. So it's, you know, it's about time he takes them out. He had personal vendettas against them, could care less about him, you know, obviously enslaved him, but I think that he really was given an order by Beerus. Now, it could just be for the same reason that they cannot chance that they're going to get stronger, but there has to be a bigger reason why, that maybe even a god of destruction would, you know, kind of think that. Why would that be an issue? Maybe he doesn't want to clean up their mess all the time. Maybe they're just causing chaos across the universe, so maybe there's not really a big reason they did it, but I believe that they're all going to realize the fatal mistake they made, and a big part of that planet being destroyed and all the Saiyans is the reason why Broly's so enraged. And now, the thing is this, him being a baby, obviously, you know, with that power level, would shock anybody. And unlike the old movie where they kind of just, you know, shook it off and laughed about it and didn't treat it like a real big deal, and this one they did. And I think somewhere along the line, you know, someone got wind, and that was it. That was why that order went. So that explains that. Now again, he's a freak. He's basically going to be a god. He's going to be a god, and the mortal that becomes a god. Now, I know a lot of people may believe that the only way that's possible is for him to get genetic testing. But think about it. Do you really think they're going to do that? Do you think they're going to say, yeah, he's just this powerful because he was genetically tested on? Which means that anybody could be genetically tested on like that and become that powerful, which would then kind of defeat the purpose of training, power levels, and all of that. So I don't think that's at all what they're doing. What makes more sense is that they actually were taking tests from Broly and finding ways to take part of his DNA and structure and implement it in other Saiyans, and that the ones that took were the ones that could become Super Saiyan now. Now, it may not explain why Vegeta can do it. It may not. But then again, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, when this was being done, the test was done to him secretly as well. And that even though the manga explains that before the planet was destroyed, he was off-world, this could have happened at any time. Now, Goku was a baby at the time. He was a little younger. But Vegeta was kind of around the same age, a little older, so it's very possible that after these tests were done, and some of them might have been successful, the king decided to do it on his son. And so this way, over time, with enough training, he will become a Super Saiyan. This may, this is definitely something that seems like it connects, and this will explain why the next generation of Saiyans, or half-human, half-Saiyans, like Trunks and Goten and Gohan, are able to master Super Saiyan faster. And just like the trailer, it says that Broly is learning during the fight. Sort of like Goku Black. Every time he gets into a fight with Goku, he learns more. But that was just with Goku. Now, this guy's going to learn it with everybody. Anyone that comes near him, he's going to learn something. So, even if they bring Ultra Instinct into this, you might want to hope that they don't. Because what may happen is that when he tries to use it on him, he learns. And he takes that knowledge into him. Meaning he may not actually pull off Ultra Instinct, but he may just be so powerful it doesn't matter. Like, he could try it, and, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work for some reason, for whatever reason, and it could be tied into the past. Meaning that unlike Jiren being so powerful and not being able to do anything, Broly could. Because all the power from Goku and the way he's getting to his heights and do what he does came from Broly in the first place. Meaning he's the patriarch of Super Saiyan, period. And that would not be possible without the test being done on other Saiyans from Broly. So that is my theory of what we're about to see. And that basically Frieza gets his army jacked or something happens to him, and he's the one in that soul pod that comes to Earth, or it's another character completely that we don't know about. But I do believe it's going to be Frieza, and that he realized that one of those pods on his ship, or maybe somewhere around where he was, he could take that pod and go back to Earth quicker than the ship could. Because if you remember, it took a while for Frieza to get to Earth, and they were hoping to get there before Frieza got there. Goku was hoping to, but he was not able to. Now I know people are saying, well, he actually landed in one of those pods, so it doesn't make sense that that pod got there before Frieza's ship in this movie if it was the other way around. Well, he could have been farther out. He could have been way farther out, and Frieza could have been closer towards Earth and was able to get there sooner. So if you think in the sense of the same place around the same time this happens to Frieza, he gets jacked of his ship, he gets on one of these pods, he knows he can get there quicker to warn them, but not too much quicker. So he probably does that, warns them, and basically tells them, the power of this Saiyan is just ridiculous. And I think you guys would be interested to know this. And of course, maybe he still has an agenda, as always, but he knows how Goku and Vegeta are going to react, especially when they know that this is connected to their past and everything else. So this definitely seems like where this is going. This may explain why he's fighting Frieza, fighting Vegeta, and fighting Goku. Because if he fights all of them, he learns, and he takes their powers and all their techniques. And maybe that's why he is all battle damaged. To be dead honest, he goes and picks fights with the most powerful beings to learn more and get stronger. And maybe that's naturally what he can do. Instead of getting damaged first and then learning more and getting more powerful, he does it in real time. So that's another thing. That may be coming from Saiyans when they get stronger. Could have been something natural to all Saiyans, but was enhanced when they did the test on the other Saiyans from Broly. And Broly naturally had this. Okay, so other Saiyans can naturally do this, but with every other bit that was done to them with the Super Saiyan and all that other stuff, they are able to learn quick too. Our heroes learn quick. So this is what I believe is going to unfold, and I believe the next two movies are going to explain more Bardock. It's going to be like a Bardock reboot to kind of bring him into canon, and I think it's a very strong possibility that one of the other movies will include Cooler, okay, or at least have a backstory on Frieza's family, Frieza's race, his history, everything that led up to what he's about. And this way they can kind of bring together and make sense of why Frieza may actually turn his ways and why Whis and Beerus actually brought him back. Because think about it, you think they're just going to bring him back just because he held tournament when they know he's just going to be evil? He even admitted he's not going to stop his evil ways. But I think they realized that he has changed and that he will change. Now, by him coming to Earth and warning Goku and Vegeta, that right there may be part of an agenda, but it's also fear, you know. And by Paragus coming to Earth with Broly, they're there for the Dragon Balls, so they can wish back Planet Vegeta and all the people that were lost. And this way, you know, it would make sense. We'd get everything that we ever wanted. We'd see the planet restored with all the Saiyans. We'd see this backstory of Bardock, Goku, Vegeta, a bigger portion we've never seen before, and it would actually bring a lot of these characters into canon in the proper way. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you got a lot of information. This is basically a lot of my own theories, and again, I've seen some more videos that kind of show some stuff I didn't even know. But another thing, I don't know if anybody noticed this, another part that I think is going to be a big piece of this, and it seems small, but if Vegeta says, I think that's the guy, and you see him in the hood and he raises up, he's eating something. He's eating something, okay? It doesn't seem like he's Goku filling his face, but he's eating something. Now, maybe that has something to do with keeping his power in check, or keeping him calm, or something to do outside of that collar. Who knows? Maybe it helps restore his energy. But either way, that is a small piece I don't think anybody realized. It could just be that he's sitting there eating because he's hungry. I don't really see why they'd really show that unless it had significance. Or he's like Goku, he's kind of a clown and he just can't stop filling his face, which I don't think is the case at all. So, but yeah, again, thank you for watching this video. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like. Either way, I hope this helps you all out. I hope this may clarify some things, and I can't wait for this movie to come out. So, alright guys, I'll catch you later.